Hi, Gary Stearman. Welcome to another update from Prophecy Watchers. And I am pleased to have in studio today with me Tom Horn, you know him, and Joe Ardis. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Thanks for having us, Gary.
And you're here to talk about a new DVD set. It's called Inhuman. 2 DVD sets, 3 hours, talking about genetic manipulation, the philosophy, Bible prophecy, every aspect you can think of is covered in this DVD, right?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be prouder, Gary. I think I told you off the air that if I could have imagined 5 years ago how big this project was going to be, I probably would have never set out to do it. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I did. We were able to get, I think, some of the world's leading experts from all sides of the issue involving transhumanism. People say, well, when you use that term, transhumanism, what are you talking about? It's basically just a term that's used to describe that growing population of people in the world today who believe that we are going to use powerful emerging fields of technology, genetics, robotics, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, synthetic biology, and a whole lot of other ologies, and we are going to use those to remake mankind. We're going to brain-machine interface ourselves, we're going to change our genetics, we're going to create a superior, Homo superior, humans 2.0.
And Joe Ardis, you worked on Inhuman as producer, director, cinematographer. You worked in you wore a lot of hats when this came together, and you got to participate in a lot of the interviews. Tell us about some of the great interviews that people will see when they get this DVD set.
A lot of great interviews. One in particular, Gary, we did with you. And as I've always felt that the interview you did 2 years ago, by the way, would feel to somebody watching the movie now, based on your grasp of Bible prophecy and what's unfolding around the world, that you did this interview yesterday. Mm-hmm. I mean, you were really ahead of the curve on a lot of your predictions and estimations. A lot of colorful personalities. A person watching this film can expect to get to see footage of Natasha Vita-Moore, Dr. James Hughes, Professor Hurlbut, who sits on the U.S. President's Council for Bioethics. So a lot of really high-level people.
Now you're talking about people who are advocating genetic research on human beings, changing the human genome, maybe even changing what humans are.
Well, not all of the folks I just mentioned, of course, are for transhumanism, but a good number of them are. And what we did in the film was we tried not to do anything where people like, for example, James Hughes, who believes that transhumanism is going to be one of the key components to creating a utopia, a better form of humanity. Not every one of these people that we interviewed shared obviously the same worldviews with the Christians. So going into the interviews, I at times wondered if we would take heat or if we would be unwelcome in some of the places where we went. But all of the people we interviewed were agreeable and professional, and it was a wonderful experience. It took more than 5 years to put that film together.
Yeah, and what people are going to find is really nothing like this film has ever been made before. Ray Kurzweil, Transcendent Man, he made his film. It's from his point of view, and it's utopian. And he believes that through these technologies and nanobots in our brains, we're going to cure all of what ails mankind. We've got some utopians that are in this film, but we've also got transhumanists in the film that are also dystopians, that actually guys like Hugo de Garis that he's lived his entire adult life running the artificial brain lab for China's IM University, considered to be, extraordinarily intelligent man. He's a pro-transhumanist, but he believes that once we do reach singularity and start interfacing ourselves with strong artificial intelligence and changing our genetics, we're going to give birth basically to biblical Armageddon, and we're all going to die. So some of the ones that are for it see the existential risks. Others are utopians. But we also did something no film like this has ever done before, and that's that we also got the world's leading Bible scholars, because we wanted to know, is there anything prophetic about this? And people are going to see that, especially as you go into the film. The film starts out, the first disc, the first hour and a half, it's really kind of laying all the groundwork around the science, right?
Yes.
What's new, CRISPR-Cas9 technology, right, which we're going to be talking about in some broadcast programs that are upcoming. You get into the second disc, and the worm starts turning, as they used to say. It starts turning a curve, and now it starts asking these much deeper philosophical, ethical, and even prophetic questions. And that's where, of course, you really shine in this film. I want Prophecy Watcher supporters to know that, in my opinion, you're the standout personality in the Inhuman documentary. That's also the opinion of everybody at Skywatch that worked on producing this. But Chuck Missler is also in this film. Noah Hutchings. He passed away right after the interviews with him was shot, and so this is the last documentary that Noah Hutchings will ever
That was a huge
be
honor
in.
to get to be there in Noah's presence, to get to actually film what at the time we would not know would be the last interview that he would ever do for a documentary film. And I just count it a blessing to get to be there and be a part of that.
When I watched the finished product, and my wife can testify to this, I just looked at her and said, this ought to be in every Christian home. I don't always say that about everything we offer. I'm not always that absolutely driven to say the information in here is pure gold, because it'll help you as a Christian understand the world in which you live, the way you ought to be praying, the way you need to be interacting with your family and with your friends. I think we've got a warning situation at hand here. I think people need to be warned about what's going on. You brought something today, and we're just going to give you a brief little glimpse of this. We're not going to show it on this update, but on some later programs, we're going to show you what's inside this refrigerated box.
It's a refrigerated container, and I did bring it. We are going to use it on the broadcast programs. I won't even tell people exactly what is in this, but let's just say it is the game changer.
It's why people are meeting in Washington, D.C. right now. In fact, tell us about that meeting.
Yeah, there's a meeting going on in what have been all week going on in Washington, D.C., where the top scientists from around the world, from China, from the U.K., the Academy of Medical Sciences, our own large department in the U.S., specifically to talk about the technology that is in this box, and they're so concerned about it that they believe, if at all possible, there needs to be a universal moratorium placed on the use of this technology. Why? Well, let's just say this could change all forms of life down the line. This technology that's in here represents that. But Gary, I also believe this. This technology represents now something that hasn't existed on Earth except back before the Great Flood. What is inside this box could literally allow for the incarnation of fallen angels into bodies of flesh once again. But I'll take it out when we get on TV,
and you'll see more about this when you watch the programs we're going to produce. I think we have done a good job of arousing curiosity here, Tom.
Yeah, if people aren't throwing things at their screen right now, you'll be all right.
Here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing that I try hard to convey, and it's not always easy. Because I think most people would rather live sort of mundane lives in which they think everything is okay. Certainly there are some evil people out there and some evil events, but we're going to do okay. Just don't bother me with the facts. We've passed some kind of a point of no return, I feel, Tom, in which the world has changed.
And it's never been, Gary, it's never been more important that churches out there, Bible teachers, people that have home study groups, that they get this documentary from Prophecy Watchers and teach, learn to communicate the basic ideas, because if the church doesn't get involved in this conversation, then we are leaving it to the non-believers, to the naturalists, to the Darwinians, to the transhumanists, to define the policies that are going to be written around the uses of these powerful technologies. We need to get involved in this conversation and get a basic education around it.
Very well said, Tom. The DVD, 2 DVD set, by the way, 3 hours of programming, extremely well edited. It'll pull you right along, believe me. Yours for $24.95, or you can get it free. Would you like it free? All you have to do is order these 4 books. Dead Pets Don't Lie by Joe Ardis here. Is about much more than dead pets. It's about genetic modification of food supplies. Wow. Did you ever think about that? Could that affect you directly? Yes, it could. And this book, Forbidden Gates, and this book, Zenith 2016, by the way, a Tom Horn bestseller, I might say. And this book, Pandemonium's Engine, another Tom Horn bestseller. These 4 books, $69.95, and you get Inhuman, the documentary, absolutely free. The online bookstore, prophecywatchers.com. Check the little tab that says online bookstore, and you'll be directed to the point you need to be in order to get this DVD set or the DVD and the books into your home. In closing, guys, there is not just a need to know here, there's like a spiritual mission, I feel, around this whole subject, because it's the subject Jesus talked about. He talked about the recurrence of the days of Noah. And we all know that in the days of Noah, there was an incredible disruption of human development that was brought about by intruders from on high. It seems like that's all beginning to happen again.
Yeah, well, that's what Jesus said, Matthew 24:37, as it was in the days of Noah. And again, the reason that I brought this Coolard kit with me that we'll talk about on television is to make the case that we're not talking sci-fi. We're not talking about sometime way out in the future. Scientists from around the world gathering in leading national governments to say we need to get a moratorium because they know they can't get a moratorium. The genie's out of the bottle, essentially. The time is now to get involved in the conversation and to get an education curve on the subject matter.
And I forgot to mention that when you order that package, the Pandemonium package with all the books and the DVDs, you get a copy of our September Prophecy Watcher, which has an article by Tom Horn, and that article is called The Next and Final Phase of Man is Here. That's a good title, The Next and Final Phase. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, well, the Bible, everything in the Bible is about genetic purity. It's about seeds.
It really is.
And it's about the conflict between thy seed and his seed that would ultimately be fought in the end times.
Joe, thanks for your good work.
Thank you very much
thanks
for
being
having me.
with us today.
Appreciate it.
Tom, Godspeed to you and to yours. And I can't wait for everybody to be able to see the programs that we're making on this subject, because you're going to learn much, much more. Have a great day in the Lord, and pray about all this, because the world is changing very, very rapidly. Pray that the Lord will keep you apprised and informed of what's happening, so that you won't be surprised when they actually do begin to happen. We're not going to be surprised. We're wired in. Tom's wired in. Joe is wired in. And this DVD will help you to come up to speed, I'm sure. Have a great day in the Lord. I'm Gary Stearman. Hey, keep watching, everybody. We are. Thanks for joining us on Prophecy Watchers. You can find us on the web at prophecywatchers.com, where you can sign up for our free email newsletter, or follow us at facebook.com/prophecywatchers. In the meantime, keep watching, everybody, and we'll see you soon.